My name is Mick. Ningiuruvik. Kinauvi.
Ilisapewunga, kinawin.
Paulo Silvunga, Hanukit,
Hanu Jagalanga, Hanipit.
Inuktitut Inuttitut. Just fine, thanks. Let's look at the pattern for an exchange of greetings.
Panukit,
Hanu Jagalanga.
The question is literally, how are you? And the reply, very logical when you think of it, is, I'm not how. However, there are slight differences in the way Paliser and Alexina would ask the question and in the way they would answer it. Paliser, you see, comes from Sadluit. He is our representative on this program of the Ungava set of dialects. Alexina comes from Inuktitut. She represents the Hudson Bay. Now, of course, each community has its own very cherished idiosyncrasies, and depending on where you live, you're going to have to make some slight adjustments to what people say. But think of it this way. Basically, Paliser, Ungava, Alexina, Hudson Bay. Okay, Paliser.
Hanok,
Hanu.
Hanukit,
Hanipit. Hanok. Hanu Jagalanga.
Hanok, Hanuingitunga.
Try those answers a couple of times just to get the swing of them. Repeat after Paliser and Alexina.
Hanuingitunga, Hanuingitunga.
Hanu Jagalanga. Hanu Jagalanga.
Well, let's get into our lesson. Most language courses use little dialogues in an attempt to lighten the hard labor of language learning. So why should we be any different? Let us therefore introduce our first completely fictional character, Roger Reckless, a northern pilot whose name in Inuktitut is Isumaitok, he who is thoughtless. This character bears no relationship to any pilot, living or dead, who works or has ever worked in Nunavik. He is an invention for purely teaching purposes. Our first episode starts with him receiving his flying instructions from the base manager. By the way, we will have different actors during the skits. They will take on varying roles. Listen first.
Ulumi Inuktitut Inuttitut.
Inuktuamut, Inuktitut Sivunga.
Ay, kina.
Roger Vunga,
Roger ngay, nanipi.
Kang Sumitunga.
Gangat sumipit.
Ah, Asiulawama.
Let's start to pick at this. Consider the first line. We'll give you the first word for free.
Ulumi. 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 Ilinnialirta wutit.
Now we start to work seriously. Here's one of the simplest place names in Nunavik.
Inuktitut,
Inuktitut.
Here's how you say, you're on your way to Inuktitut.
Inuktitut, Inuktitut, Inuktitut.
And here's how you say, you will go to Inuktitut, as a kind of command.
Inuktitut, Inuktitut, Inuktitut.
Inuktitut. Inuktitut. Inuktitut wutit.
Back to settlements. Here's the word for river,
Cook, cook.
and for big river,
Good job. Good job.
which is the name for this settlement.
Good job.
Good job.
By the way, ignore the difference in spelling between KJ and JJ. The official names of settlements do not always follow the same linguistic conventions. Now, a very big river would have this name.
Kutuaraluk. Kutuaraluk.
While a little big river, you know, like Little Bighorn, would turn out like this.
Kutuarapik. Kutuarapik.
Which is the name of this village.
Kutuarapik.
Kutuarapik.
Try them yourself. When the arrow points to the community, name it before Elisippi or Policy get a chance to.
Inuktitut.
Kutuak.
Kutuarapik.
Inuktitut.
Kutuak.
Kutuarapik.
Time for some action. The base manager is going to give Roger his flight instructions. You will go to Kuujjuaq. You will go to Kuujjuarapik, and so on. Listen carefully, because in a moment you'll be doing it.
Inuktitut. Kuujjuarapik. Kuujjuarapik.
Once again, only in a different order.
Kuujjuarapik. Inuktitut. Kuujjuarapik.
Now it's your turn. When you hear Elisippi say the place name, tell Policy to go there. There will be a pause for your effort, then Elisippi will say it, just for reinforcement.
Kutuak. Kuujjuarapik. Inuktitut. Inuktitut. Kuujjuarapik. Kuujjuarapik.
Once again, but this time, when Policy gets there, Elisippi's going to ask him, where are you? And Policy's going to reply, I'm in such and such a place. We're not going to give you the word as a clue, we'll just flash its location.
Tasiralialangavuttit. Nanipit.
Tasiuyarmiiqunga.
Puhuntlalangavuttit. Nanipit.
Puverntumiikkunga.
Umiralialangavuttit. Nanipit.
Umiuyarmiiqunga.
Another geographical term is the word for bay.
Kangeqsoq. Kangeqsoq.
Which is the name of this settlement.
Kangersaq.
Kangeqsoq.
There's also a settlement called Big Bay.
Kangersuyuaq.
Kangeqsuyuaq.
Kangersuyuaq.
Kangeqsuyuaq.
That's not as simple as you might think it is. Listen to these two sets of words for a moment. River, big river, bay, big bay. Listen to the J sounds in the middle.
Kuuk. Kuutjuaq. Kangeqsuq. Kangeqsuyuaq.
There's a harder J sound in Kuujjuaq than in Kangeqsuyuaq. Listen to it again.
Kuk. Kutuak. Gangsok. Gangsuyak.
Now let's look at the difference between the terms for really big river and really big bay. The same elements are involved in each, but they combine in a different order and in a different way. It's all very logical, but we'll hold the full explanation till later.
Kutuagaluk. Kutuagaluk.
Kutuagaluk.
Kangiksualuttuaq. Kangiksualuttuaq.
Kutuagaluk. Gangsualtuak.
And here's the village of Really Big Bay.
Gangsualtuak.
Kangiksualuttuaq.
Gangsualtuak.
Kangiksualuttuaq.
The base manager is going to give Roger his flight directions again, and she's going to ask location questions as well. Listen first, and then you will do it. Notice that the two I's in these place expressions are indeed pronounced longer than a single I.
Gangsualialangavutit. Nanipi.
Kangiksuyoamikkunga.
Kutuagapilialangavutit. Nanipit.
Kutuaqaapimmiiqunga.
Gangsualuttualialangavutit. Nanipit.
Kangiksualuttuamikkunga.
We'll get you to ask the question now. When the place name flashes, ask Policy where he is. Elizabeth's going to do the first one for you.
Nanipit.
Inuttuamikkunga.
Your turn.
Nanipit.
Kutuamikkunga.
Nanipit.
Kangiksuyoamikkunga.
Nanipit.
Kangiksualuttuamikkunga.
You're going to be answering the questions in a moment, but first let's help you get your tongue around our two longer names. Repeat after Elizabeth.
Kutuak. Kutuagapik. Kutuagapimmipunga. Kangiksok. Kangiksuyak. Kangiksualuttuak. Kangiksualuttuamippunga.
Now when the place name flashes, answer Policy's question. Elizabeth's going to do the first one for you.
Nanikit.
Kutuagapimmipunga.
Nanikit.
Kutuamippunga.
Nanikit.
Kangsuyoamippunga.
Nanikit.
Kangsualuttuamippunga.
Back to our dialogue, the Rogers briefing.
Ullomi inuttualialangavutit.
Inuttuamut. Inuttualialangasipunga.
Ay, kina.
Rajunguvunga.
Rajunge. Nanipi.
Kangiksumittunga.
Gangitsumipit.
Asiulaorama.
Now, as the few remaining minutes of our airtime flow past, here are some words for you to repeat after Policy and Elizabeth.
Inuk. Inuk. Inuktuaq. Inuktitut Inuttitut
Inuk. Inuktitut. Inuttitut. Inuttitut.
Cook Kutuak Kutualialangavutit Kutuamitunga Kutuarapik Kutuarapilialangavutit Kutuarapimitunga
Cook. Kutuak. Kutualialangavutit. Kutuamitunga. Kutuarapik. Kutuarapilialangavutit. Kutuarapimitunga.
Kangsulialangavutit Kangaksumitunga Kangaksujualialangavutit Kangaksujuamitunga
Kangsulialangavutit. Kangaksumitunga. Kangaksujuak. Kangaksujualialangavutit.
Kangaksujuamitunga Kangaksuaruttuaq Kangaksuaruttualialangavutit Kangaksuaruttuamitunga
Kangaksujuamitunga. Kangaksuaruttuaq. Kangaksuaruttualialangavutit. Kangaksuaruttuamitunga.
That's the end of our first lesson. There's a booklet available to accompany this program, by the way. It expands on the material here in a more leisurely fashion. Here's how to order it. In the next program, we will look at how to say no. Takulari vogut.
Takularivugut
Takularivugut.